Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Happy Friday. I am Kevin Bryant, and the first thing I want to say is Happy New Year to everyone out there. I know we haven't seen New Music Day. This is the first show of the year, so I want to just let everybody know and give everybody a chance to come on. We have an exclusive interview today with Miss Tonya Lewis Taylor. Right? I had to make.
Yes,
Sure.
how are you, Kevin?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And how are you, actually?
All is well, all is well. I am, unfortunately, I just came from a funeral, so I'm in the car. But I am excited about talking to you about some of the great work that we're doing.
You know what? Speaking of great work, like you come right on time. We just changed over. We have new leaders and everything, and you coming through with all the stuff that I read about what you're doing. I'm like, well, you should have been up there too.
Absolutely, we're getting there. We're moving. We're making a lot of progress,
Okay.
and we're going to do some really good things for our young people.
That is awesome, awesome. First, I want everybody to know if they don't know, Tonya Lewis Taylor. I like when you have three names.
Yes, me too, because I never had a middle name. So when I got married, I finally had three names.
Right,
So
right. So it's great. Tonya, you did a lot of stuff. You're a philanthropist, singer, songwriter, author. Like all that stuff that you've done, you had to know that, okay, eventually I was going to do something. You was going to do something to kind of make a big imprint. I just want to start off with that first. I want everybody to know philanthropy is it has this thing with it because some people, a lot of people agree with you, a lot of people don't. But the fact that you put the messages out there like that, tell me about that. How did you even start to become a philanthropist the way you did?
I've been a very fortunate person. Early on, I got an opportunity to make some real smart choices financially and in business, and it set me up and it allowed me to really pursue my dreams and live the life that I wanted to live and to really give back. So I cut my teeth early on at a record label called Rockefeller Records.
Yes.
I was an executive there, and I became Jay-Z's publicist for many years,
Yes.
working to build that brand and build his image. And from there, I started my own PR firm and became very successful with developing pro-social initiatives for different organizations and companies and artists. And we work with people like Jamie Foxx and Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats and Russell Simmons and Omar Epps and Bow Wow and Remy Ma and Fat Joe. I mean, just so many awesome people who have contributed their time and their talents to help us to be great. And I started my PR firm, and basically from there, I got a call from a friend of mine that was working in the school system, and she told me that the kids weren't coming to school, and she asked if I could. She knew my work. She knew, all the work I did with celebrities, and she said, "Could you bring a celebrity to my school to boost the kids' morale?"
Right.
And we wound up doing a Rockefeller takeover that day. Like, cause I don't do nothing small. I go big. So, and then the principal at the end, he said to me, when the kids who didn't show up find out that Rockefeller came and just blessed us, they're going to wish they came to school. And I
Mm,
asked the question, I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, our kids don't come to school. We got about a 50% a rate of students who show up. And I was floored. I was like, kids don't come to school? Where? Like, I grew up when you had to go to school.
right.
And so we adopted that school and we started sending them different albums and posters and all types of Rockefeller stuff and just really encouraging the kids. And from that, the program grew into what we are today. So that's
Wow.
the start.
So with you being in PR and working with the heavy hitting artists that you work with, you find a lot of artists that you work with legends basically. that
I've been fortunate to be mentored by legends, multimillionaires, billionaires. I have been fortunate when I tell you I have been blessed. God has been good to me.
that is amazing.
That's all I
That
can
is
tell you.
amazing. It's amazing to even acknowledge that. And I also saw that you're a singer and songwriter.
Well, so let me go back because people when like when people see me from the executive side, they don't know about the musician side of me. So
Right.
I gotta always explain this. Okay, so I've been a musician my whole entire life. I'm a church girl. I grew up in church. I was the minister of music of my church. I can play, I can sing, I do all of that stuff, right? And so that's just in the DNA being a church girl, right?
Right. Right.
And so I always wanted to produce and have my own music, but the music industry is pretty brutal. I tried for a couple of years and it was rough, and so I found a place behind the scenes in music, and that's what I did for many years. But when you have a passion for something, even if you don't do it, it still doesn't go away. And eventually one day I said, enough of this. I got to get this music out of my head.
Hmm.
And I recorded my first album 8 years ago. It went top 15 on the gospel Billboard charts. And recorded my second album. That went top 20 on the gospel Billboard charts.
Wow.
And now we're on my third album. So I share with people, whatever the dream that's inside of you, even if it seems like it was years ago, that dream will come to pass. You just got to wait on it.
That is amazing. I like
Mhm.
that. And I think because God made it that way, the universe is built that way. Like whatever
It
he said,
is built
it
that way.
it
It
has
has to happen, right? Yes.
to happen. So I agree with that. So now you went from PR, celebrity PR at that. You were singing and songwriting. You was an artist. You had charted music. Then you decide, okay, I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna be an author. Okay.
Well, here's what we have to understand. God gifts us with talents. There's a parable in the Bible, as Bible as a literature, not as a religious thing, but there's a parable in the Bible of the 10 servants who were given gifts by their master. And
Yes.
he went away, and when he came back, some of them had multiplied their gifts, but some of them buried them. There was the one that received one gift, buried his gift. And when the master asked him about his gift, he said, Master, I buried the gift thinking that when you come back, I would have it for you. But
Right.
that was not what the master wanted to hear. He want you to take your gift and multiply it and
Mm,
do exceedingly more than you could ever think. So I'm gifted to do certain things, but when God gives you another gift, you got to put it out into the world. So he gave me this book. I wrote it, put it out in the world.
I agree. I think that's very possible. I think that's worthy. I agree with having many talents because I do a lot too. It's rough, but hey, you can do it.
It
So
is
you,
rough. It is rough, but you can do it.
that's right. You can do it. I like that one too. Okay,
Mm.
might be a real first lady coming up in here.
Ow, ow.
Basically, I know a lot has been going on. We now have a new president. Before that, this was a rough year with the pandemic and everything like that.
Ooh,
Uh,
rough year.
Violence, gun
Yeah.
violence, all riots. I mean, Black Lives Matter, everybody matter, whoever matter, white supremacy matter. I mean, everybody matter. So, with all that being said, it has been very hard to kind of really see your way through all the negative stuff that's been going on. But I know everybody heard about Pop Smoke, the
Mm,
murder of Pop Smoke out in Brooklyn, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
absolutely.
Everybody heard about that. So you also are very connected to that. There's something that you did. I saw a PSA, and I think it was Pop's parents, his mom and dad.
Hmm. Hmm.
How did that all come about, and what is the catalyst that started you to spearhead this whole movement?
So I run a youth development organization in New York City. We pre-COVID serviced almost 16,000 students a week. We're
Hmm.
in 48 schools. We had a staff of almost 40, and the pandemic really did a job on us. And like everyone else, I had to lay off about 28, 30 staff members during the pandemic. And were just like everyone else, just kind of living through the pandemic, watching all of the madness happen and unfold in our communities. And I'm sitting in my house on a weekday, and across the news screen, another child had gotten shot.
Wow.
literally a few blocks from my house. We've been fortunate to work with the borough president's office, the mayor's office. We get grants from the city, and I contacted the borough president and I said, "Hey, Eric, what can I do? What can we do? We need to do something. Our borough is really just falling apart. Brooklyn, we were up to something like 300 shootings in
Mm.
Brooklyn. It was so bad that I just could not sit still, and so that's how I became part of this PSA. Our organization, we've already been serving young people. We've already been serving the community. We do arts and education programs, mentoring programs, college career programs. So this was just something else to add to our wheelhouse, ways that we can give back to the community, because I cannot sit back and watch our kids kill each other and not do something. And so I
Mm.
just did something. And what I did was I asked our students who is the most polarizing hip hop figure that we can pull in to try to get a message to these kids to stop killing each other. And the kids all said Pop Smoke, but Pop Smoke was deceased. So I said, well, what if we can get his parents to talk about the devastation that his murder has caused and what they have to deal with after the trigger was pulled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's how it came about. And the parents were gracious enough to sign on. I met them only twice, once at the filming, and once at the filming, we did another filming with the Brooklyn Borough president. And I can't imagine what the mom and dad have to live through every day, but I'm just grateful that they were gracious enough to allow our organization to capture this
Right.
to help our young people.
Wow. The thing that gets me, I guess, like people don't understand when a person like yourself steps out to create a movement. Like, I think I would love to hear the the thing that actually moved you. Like not necessarily because there's something inside that moves us to do big things like that. It for you, some people it's a voice, some people it's an emotion, some people some people it's somebody else, it's an inspiration. But for you, like, what was it inside you that said, okay, I got to do this?
I've always been that person. So as a kid, I was always the one that wanted to fight for the underdog. And I just believe, like, I don't know, it's just something in my DNA.
Mhm.
I can't tell you why it is, but I just can never sit back and just not do something. But
Mhm.
I do believe it's part of the assignment that we're called to.
Mhm.
Whenever something troubles you, whenever something sticks out to you as I need to do something, then you need to do it,
Do it.
because that's part of the assignment that you have to complete for your life and your journey. And so
Mhm.
I just really try to listen to the universe and understand when things bother me. And if I have the power or the ability to do something, then I'm going to use my resources for good and do that.
That's right. That's right. Wow. What did you find anything that that was interesting that people had to say on about the gun violence and these kids killing each other? Because I'm still trying to figure out what is going on with us as a race. Why do we do this? What have you found?
Now, let me tell you something. We could be on this call for hours because that's a loaded question. I mean, I've been in service my whole entire life. So I'm a preacher's kid. And so as a
Mhm.
preacher's kid, we got to serve. They tell us we the worst ones, but
Yeah.
but we got to serve. The worst kids or not, we still got to do what, we got to do. And so I've been taught to serve. And in service, you just do what you can do. You do your part.
Right.
Um, and you try to make a difference in anything that you do. You just
Right.
don't want to live a life that doesn't allow you to help somebody else. It just doesn't make sense to me to
I
live
agree.
a life that doesn't honor anything but what you want to do. There's so many, we're such a connected people that when you look at what is happening in our communities, you know that the problem is greater than just the gun violence. First of all, we got to get back to family.
Yes.
The family breakdown is part of the reason you cannot see what you're seeing in our communities and not see that the family structure has been broken down. Where are the daddies? Where are the
Mm,
mamas? Why are the kids on the street at 10 o'clock at night on a school night?
mm,
We want the police and the schools to do our work, but we got to do it.
yeah.
We have to do it for ourselves and our community. So I say start with the family structure. We have to build strong families. We have to bring family back together where there was a mother and a father in the household and they made decisions together for the betterment of their family and their children. We got to bring that back. We got to have more resources in our community for our young people. We have to have jobs. We have to have programs, after school programs, in school program, evening programs. We have to have Saturday programs. We have to do things for our young people so that they are not bored and want to then join a gang and shoot somebody. So
Right.
there's so much that we got to do as a people. But it's really a big task. But how I approach everything is if I break it down to just what I can do and
Mhm.
lend my skills, my talents, my gifts to the cause. And if everybody does that, we win.
Mm.
We
That's
win.
that's a great standpoint that you have. I'm just wondering, I'm trying to think about what we look at, what socially, how we're made up, what we think is important, and I think a lot of that has to do with a lot of the violence that starts because everybody is trying to live up to something that it's either hard for them to get to or they're not there at all. So
Mhm,
it creates a false competition, I think, and
mhm.
we don't have to compete against each other. The kids that you work with, do they understand that type of socialism, or is it even hard for you to even get them to realize how we should be looking at each other?
Well, I ascribe to the notion that we have to equip our people, with the
Hmm.
knowledge that they need to be successful. So, when we deal with our students, we keep it straight real with them. We want them to understand what this world is. We want them to understand the history of our world. We want them to understand about America. We want them to understand that you 400 years behind all the other races, and so you don't got time to be running around in these streets. You need to get your education, get your money so that we can catch up. So I explain to them and I want them to be powerful. I want them to understand exactly how this has happened to our race and how this
Hmm.
has happened to our people. And then now, not just talk about how it happened, what they did, but now let's talk about what we got to do to fix it and let's implement. I'm a person, I just get frustrated with all these press conferences and all this stuff. Why are we doing all that? Just do what you're supposed to do. Everybody do their part. We can make the change in our community. If I live on a block, I live in Bed-Stuy. I'm sitting in front of my house. I'm looking down my block, beautiful block. I'm very fortunate to buy, a few brownstones and really, live the life that I wanted. But as I look down the block, if I see a child who I see every day and they just seem to be up to nothing, just
Hmm.
hanging on the block, doing nothing. It's my responsibility to then try to see if I could set up something for this child to be productive. If
Hmm.
he's on the corner every day and I see him every day and we are a community and a family, shouldn't I at least try to help this young man to get off the corner?
Yes, definitely.
At least to get off the corner. Maybe I can steer him towards a job. Maybe I could steer him towards mentorship. Maybe I could steer him towards college or school. But isn't it my job to help him get off that corner?
Mm, 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 mm. Mm. See, it wasn't just what you said; it's how you said it. It's all the vibes that come out with that. So everyone needs to talk like that and speak like this. I think everyone needs to, because we are responsible for each other.
We
We are
are.
definitely responsible for each other, and if we can just get us to see that and to believe that, I think we'll be on the right path. I think what you're doing is great. I mean, look, like I tell you, next time I see Michelle Obama, I'm gonna tell her you got to go get Tonya.
Please tell her. It's so funny because we got some plans for this new administration. We got to do some big things with them because I am so excited that the circus is over. You hear me?
Hmm. Hmm.
4 years we had a circus, and
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. Woo, that the circus is over and we can see the light of day.
So with your personality, this is awesome. Let's get into this first book. Be You Not Her?
Yeah.
Be You Not Her. Okay, let's get into it.
Well, I wrote the book literally 5 years ago. And I wrote it as I was trying to understand my uniqueness. I'm a very interesting character. So if you haven't figured that out yet,
Yeah, I can see some
you
things.
can see it, right? You can see it. But in my interestingness, what happens when you're young, if you don't have somebody to guide you and help you understand who you are, what happens sometimes the things that are great, you might think it's a curse. Other people might say, "Oh, I love your personality," but you might not understand how that thing is good. And so
Mm,
I'm just like every other young person. I grew up trying to figure it out, trying to
mhm,
understand, who am I?
mm,
Why am I here? How
mm,
do my unique gifts and talents fit into the
mhm,
world?
mhm,
And I had to do my work. And that's what this book is about, me going on a self journey to understand my uniqueness and how it fits into the world to make sure that I accomplish my destiny.
mm. You know what? That's the question I think that we have to get every human being to ask, especially us. Who am I and why am I here?
Yes.
And I think if they start asking those questions, they'll start putting themselves on the journey to know who they are and to understand why they are here. And they'll go out and seek those things to make them understand why they're here.
And do the work that you are supposed to be
Oh,
doing.
you're doing
Because
right.
all of us have an assignment. But what happens is that we miss our assignment because we're looking at other people's
Yep.
assignments. We do that
Yep.
all the time. Oh, I wish I could be like him, or I wish I could be like her. We do that all the time, not knowing that when you do that, you dishonor. You
Mm,
dishonor all of the greatness in you.
that's right.
So we got to honor everything about us is intentional. There
Mm,
is nothing about you or me that's inintended, from our nose to our eyes to our cheeks to the way we walk, the way we talk. It's all designed by God, by a force greater than us to be exactly who we are. Why don't we embrace that? We got to own that.
that's
I
true.
don't care how crazy. Like Biggie said it best. He said, "Fat, black, and ugly, but you going to love me." Didn't Biggie say that?
He did. He did. He
I
said,
love it.
but even that, fat, black, and ugly, like who made those standards?
But just the fact that he said at the end of it, he said, "But guess what? You gonna love it."
You're gonna love it. That's right. And that's
And
how
that's what it's all about. Be you, not her. It's all about you loving me. Listen, when I say you gonna love it, that means I already love it.
right. Right.
Because I love it. I know you gonna love it.
I love the whole "Be You" thing. I mean, I did a record back in the day called "Just Be Who You Want to Be," and I mean that record was for everyone to understand who they are. I just got tired of being what everybody else wanted me to be,
I know
so,
that's right.
so I had to be who I was. You know what I'm saying? So I
That's
get
right.
it, and I'm so a part of that movement and the whole everything that you were saying about that because I totally believe that. Shout out to Angelo Ellaby. He's this great
The
conversation.
great, the great Angelo Ellaby.
Yeah.
He
Who?
trained me. Do you know the great Angelo Ellaby? I watched his example and have learned how to be in PR because of the great Angelo Ellaby. Not Angelo, but the great one.
The great one, the
Yep.
Andrew Ellery. That's right.
The. You better know.
Yeah, I pick him up as a mentor myself. He says some amazing things, and like you, sister, you are saying some amazing things. And you know, I want this violence to stop. We all want this violence to stop. And I think what you're doing is a great, 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 great thing. What's next for that? Like, what is the next plan to kind of get into the communities and kind of put a rest to this?
Well, we have an 8 week program that is going to extend, well beyond 8 weeks.
Mhm.
And the goal right now is to these students that we have 50 students that are agents of change. So these students in New York City are going to reach out to their city council members, reach out to the local police precinct, reach out to their assembly people, and their state senators, and say, these are the things that we need in our community so that our young people can get off the streets and stop uh, getting involved in negative behavior. So we have a program. These young people are going to be on the internet influencing their peers
Yeah.
to stop the violence. I talked about the reaching out to all of the city officials, the whole internet campaign, the school campaign. Being that we're not in school, normally they would be doing stuff in their schools. But the goal right now is to spread a message of positivity, peace, love, and to really get the city officials to understand that we need the resources. Stop talking and give us the money so that we can do the things that we need to do in our communities.
Give us the money.
The money.
Money.
Don't play the money, because let me share something with you. I live in a community that is a couple of blocks away from Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and
Mhm.
Williamsburg, Brooklyn is a Hasidic,
Yeah.
Jewish Hasidic community.
Yeah.
And whenever I go and I drive through that community or I'm in the area, I'm in awe at how they have been able to take all of their resources and pool them together and build their community. Their young people don't go out of the community for anything. If they need mentorship, it's there. If they want to be a doctor, they got doctors where you work under the doctors. They want to be lawyers, they got lawyers. You can work under the lawyers. If you want to be a dentist, they got dentists. Anything you want to be, it's in the community. And that's the same thing that we have to do as a people. We have to build it where everything our I keep saying that word, our young people need. We should provide it for them. We shouldn't wait for no handouts. There are too many. I told you, I've been mentored by millionaires and billionaires.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've been mentored by them. I've
Right.
worked alongside of billionaires. Kanye West is a billionaire. Work alongside of it. Jay-Z is a billionaire. Work alongside. Russell Simmons, multi-millionaire. So I know that we have the money.
Right.
The money is there. We got to just pull it together and do what we got to do for our
Sometimes
community.
I'm gonna say this because I feel the same way you do, and I don't understand it. Like, I'm from New York, and I live in Atlanta now. I'm here now, but I understand. I see it here. I know a lot of millionaires and billionaires. I hang with them. I be with them. I see them. All that stuff. So my thing is, what is it that we can't get through our heads that we got to do this for each other? Like, I don't understand why we don't have our own system where when we buy from us, we get that extra 10% cash back or whatever it is. I don't understand why we can't do that together. And she just totally hit the wrong button on her phone. And I think she accidentally got out of the thing. But needless to say, Tonya Lewis Taylor has a great movement. And we'll try to get her back on. We'll see if she can come back. But that is the thing, people, we really have to understand what it is that we need to do for ourselves and each other. So I'm going to wait for the signal to see if she's coming back with us, because I think she just kind of hit something. But it's a great conversation. If any of you have any questions or anything to add to, please feel free to leave it in the comments and let us know. We at Heat Seekers take a lot of pride into putting back into our community these artists. We try to help them all the time. We try to make sure that they understand what it is to be a legend, to be a star, because we need that again. We have not had that in a while. So, hey, she's back. See, I bet
yes, I don't know what happened.
you probably hit a button on your phone. But
I'm
it's
sorry.
okay. So yeah, I feel the same way you do, and I really want to understand why can't we think that way? Like, what is it? Like you said, the Williamsburg community. I frequent there a lot. I used to have some friends that lived in that area, and I would be there all the time, and I was amazed at how that community was. And I lived in Bed-Stuy at the time. You know, I even lived in Clinton Hills. I mean, but still, our community it seems like we don't get it. Please say something to spark something.
We are 400. You got to remember, the racism that was perpetrated against our people was not just, it was something that would be generational.
Right.
Because when you take a people from their land and then you retrain them and you brainwash them. You make them believe they're inferior. That's generational.
Yeah.
Remember, so we have to now break it
Hmm.
here. It starts mentally, and it's important that our people understand this, because just going back to the Hasidic community, they teach about the Holocaust. They teach about, so it'll never happen again. We have to teach our young people about what happened and how to fix it. And so I think it starts there with knowledge, us informing our young people, teaching them, letting them see the horrors of slavery, let them really understand, because that's what they do in the Jewish community. They push that in their brain. And if you even say Hitler, they will, but what I'm saying, they feed their young people the
Hmm.
information, because knowledge is power. So it
Yes.
starts there. And then I think that we have to, I keep coming back to that because I don't know another way. I
Right.
just know if I got a problem, I got to fix it. And if I'm going to fix the problem, I have to do something to fix it.
Have to
So
do
I'm
something.
one of those people. I'm down to get my hands dirty. I'm down for it. And I
Right.
don't mind putting my money where my mouth is. We've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into our nonprofit to help kids. So
Mm.
I'm already down for that. We just need other people to join on the bandwagon and do their part in their neighborhoods.
Wow. Amazing. You're doing some great stuff. Let me just get. I want to ask you this too. This is something because I'm a heat seeker, and what we do here, we develop artists. We try to keep artists, new artists, on the right track. We do all that stuff here in ATL. With you working with the artists that you worked with, and watch the success that has that has come to them. What do you think the difference is with the artists today and the artists then when you were working with them?
I think today, I mean, from a positive standpoint, I just think that these young people are just so smart, so savvy. They
Mhm.
just understand business from another level, and they about their paper. These kids are about their paper. They
Right.
want to make their money. They want to live luxuriously. Back in the day, I think we did it for the love of the art.
Mm.
And we wanted to make, we prayed that we would make money, but we did it more so because we did it for the culture. So
Mhm.
I kind of feel that that's the difference, because when you do something for the culture and for the betterment of mankind, as opposed to I'm just doing it just to get paid, I think it comes across differently. And
Right.
so when you look at the rap, the Cold Cuss Brothers, and you go back to Run DMC's, and it was all about culture. It was, yeah, we're gonna make some money, we're gonna get, but it was about, we took something called hip hop and turned it into, we took nothing and turned it into something. And it was about a movement, about a culture. So I
Mm.
think that that's, for me, that's kind of where I see the difference with the artists today. But I think these young people are doing it. They're so much smarter, and they're about their paper, and they're about, you know, they ain't trying to say no yes or massa. These kids,
No, definitely not.
honey, these kids ain't saying no yes or massa, honey.
And I'm all with the money and everything and doing it for the money. My thing is when you get the money, what you gonna do with it for your culture? That's what
Well,
that's what I.
that and that's what we have to then teach them, that you have to give back to
Yeah.
whom much is given.
Yes.
Mm,
Nah.
much is also required.
That's right. Someone just asked Brown B. Fell. They want to know how do we purchase your book, Tonya?
Amazon. Go to Amazon and it's there. Google my name or Be You Not Her, and you can get the book there. I appreciate that.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I want to read the book myself too. I'm also
Absolutely.
when I come up there, we gotta connect. I'm gonna connect with you on IG. But
Yeah, make sure you get my information. You come have dinner. My family crazy. So, if you could deal with crazy, then you good.
right. So with that being said, 2021 is pretty big for you in the movement that you're embarking on. So I'm down with you. Whatever help we can do here in ATL. If you want to do an ATL version of the Heat Seekers, we come in and we'll help, bring a rise to that because it's definitely needed here too. We see the same thing here. everybody from New York that moved down here anyway. So it's
ATL is New York. Let's
right.
keep it real. Right. It is little mini New York.
Right, right. So I mean,
Absolutely. I want to extend this opportunity to you and any of your viewers, any way that you guys would like to be involved and want to help. Listen, this is not just for us here in Brooklyn. I live in Brooklyn, and so this is my community. So I do my work here. Everybody got to do their work in their community.
mhm,
And so for the culture, we got to do this. Too many people suffered for us. They died, they picketed, they fought. We can't allow our kids to go out like this. I'm sorry. We can't.
right. I gotta introduce you to Kimberly Latrice Jones. You know, she says those things too, the same thing that you're saying. Shout out to her too as well. She
Hey,
did a lot.
Kimberly.
Yeah, she did a lot in 2020 when she got out there and talked about, what they did to us, what they burned down, what they stole, all the stuff that they stole from us.
You better
So
know.
yeah, you never know. So hey, I can't wait to see what's going on. I can't wait to follow you and see everything that you have moving with the kids. I want all of us
Yes.
to see that. Miss Tonya,
Can I
Tonya.
tell you a quick story about how I got my name?
Sure.
Okay. So if anybody knows the famous journalist Geraldo Rivera,
Ah, yes.
Geraldo Rivera, he
Yes.
is actually my mother's godbrother,
Mm.
and his mother named me Tonya. So my
Tonya,
name is Tonya.
right,
It's not
Tonya.
Tanya, people. Tanya is Tonya.
Okay, that's shout out to Geraldo. I remember those talk shows.
Geraldo. I've never met
Geraldo.
him. I've never met him.
Really?
His mother and my grandmother worked together, and when my mother was pregnant, she told my mother name her Tonya. And as they, got older, they lost contact, and Geraldo became famous and stuff. So, but that's the story. Yep, of how I got my name.
Well, big ups to you, Tonya. And yeah,
Thank you.
development agency, Entertainers for Education Alliance. Is
Mhm.
that what it's called?
Yes, the name of the organization is Entertainers for Education Alliance, and the program is called I Will Graduate Program.
I will graduate. And I saw that. I think that's awesome. I will
Yeah.
graduate. We're gonna blow that up down here. I think we need to do something down here. How can everybody reach you as well?
Absolutely. You can reach me on my website at www.tonyalewistaylor.com. Sign up to receive newsletters, and I'll add you to my mailing list. And I'm reachable on Instagram at I am Tonya Lewis Taylor on Instagram, and on Facebook, Tonya Lewis Taylor. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
And I'm sorry. And if you want to know more about the program, I will graduate program.com, .org, .net. If you just put in I will graduate program, we will pop up. And our website is also I will graduate program.
Wow. Want to give a shout out to Mr. Angelo Ellaby, the Angelo Ellaby at Double Exposure. Also Kevin Goins too, because he does a lot of work. He calls me all the time.
Yeah.
And just want to give a shout out to great people. And yes. Shout out to us, Heat Seekers here, Radio One, everybody down here in ATL. Hey, we're gonna do some big things in 2021.
We are, and we're going to make our forefathers proud.
Yes.
We're going to make them proud of us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. I hope to speak to you again.
You.
Oh, I can't
wait. We
will.
will.
We're gonna be watching you, Tonya.
Thank you so much. Keep me in your prayers, and thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Everyone have a great day. I am Kevin Bryant signing off for New Music Day Live today. Thank you. Shout out to all the Heat Seekers and everybody out there, and we'll see you soon.